Oh, wow. All right, we're good to go. Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez III and the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, welcome to this award ceremony. You all know this. This ceremony is kind of unique. It's unique in several ways. The fact that we're doing the first, second, and third quarter awards all at once due to COVID-19. We had to postpone the awards, but we could postpone no more because we ran out of room on the table over here. So we wanted to show, too, through these awards that, you know, even though we did have COVID-19, the work that the deputies and our support staff are doing has not stopped. It's not ceased. In fact, in some cases, and you'll see that today as we go through these awards, the work that they're doing has increased greatly, and the service that they're providing to the community is substantial. So I think you'll see proof of the dedication and commitment on display today as we recognize people for their awards. Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez III has long encouraged community involvement and community partnership. We all know that, being part of the Sheriff's Department. The deputies and the staff that are going to be awarded today, they embody this passion of service to others. In many cases, the awards were nominated, the recipients were nominated by fellow deputies or citizens or other first responders. I think we can agree that after we see some of these awards today, we can agree that our department is top-notch, that the people that work here are doing substantial work in the community. At this time, we're going to begin the award ceremony with the Civilian of the Quarter. Again, this is for the first quarter of the awards. The Civilian of the Quarter award goes to Mitchell Cox, if he would join us up here. He was nominated for his award by Sergeant Trevor Weeks and Under Sheriff Larry Korn. Civilians are the backbone of our department. A lot of times I think that civilians are behind the scenes. They're working to support law enforcement, support the deputies that are in the field, and they don't often get the attention or recognition that they deserve. But we know they're there. We wouldn't be able to function in law enforcement without them, without their continued support. The amount of work being done by Mitchell Cox is documented in several letters of commendation that he's received, both from Sheriff Korn and Sergeant Trevor Weeks. The efforts, the knowledge, the expertise is significant. He saved the county a significant amount of money. I can't go into all the things that he's done. He continues to do great work on a daily basis. But on one project alone, which was a flare camera, flare cameras are used for search and rescue. It's used to find bad guys that are hiding from us, and in many other capacities. Those are just some examples. He saved the county upwards of about $500,000 on that project alone. This device will help carry out the mission of our department, keeping citizens and our deputies safe. Sir, we appreciate your dedication. Thank you for your hard work, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Should we keep these on, or?
It's up to you guys. That's better, I think.
See my smile.
All right, so
Excellent.
thank you. We
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. The next, you can have a seat, sir, or exit, whichever you prefer. The next award will go to the non-uniformed deputy of the quarter. Non-uniformed awards often go to our detectives. They're not necessarily in uniform, and that's the reason for the non-uniformed deputy of the award. In this case, 2 detectives were nominated and chosen. I spoke earlier about collaboration. That's a huge part of the sheriff's office. None of us accomplish anything on our own. Often it's a substantial team effort that's required for success. The non-uniformed deputy of the quarter awards go to Deputy Ross Doherty and Detective Lexi Quackenbush. If you guys would join us up here. These deputies were nominated for their part in the investigation of a child and neglect case. These deputies responded to a welfare check Their investigative prowess led to uncovering substantial physical and psychological abuse of 2 children. I read the letter that documented this. Children were being physically abused, psychologically abused, even starved. The food, both the refrigerator and cabinets were padlocked so the children couldn't eat. The detectives did a great job of investigating this case, which ultimately led to the arrest of 2 individuals and the rescue of these 2 children from this abusive environment. The detectives were a voice and an advocate for the children, and not only these children, but many other children in similar circumstances. Their dedication and commitment is commendable, and for that they will receive the non-uniform Deputy of the Quarter Award for the first quarter.
Probably just have it.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Good job.
Thank you, guys. The next award for the first quarter is the Uniform Deputy of the Quarter. The Uniform Deputy of the Quarter goes to Deputy Daniel Burns. If you'll join us up here. As a self-initiated event, Deputy Daniel Burns has taken upon himself to befriend and mentor numerous runaways who reside in shelter where he patrols in the South Valley. As I mentioned in opening, Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez encourages community involvement and community service. Deputy Burns has put this into action. He and several other deputies took it upon themselves to ensure that the youth in these shelters didn't miss out on Christmas of last year. These deputies, along with members of the community, took numerous gifts to the youth on Christmas Day. It was a pretty extensive list of things that they took, including games. I think they took a foosball table and some PlayStation games, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So that was part of the commendation that he got and part of this award. It goes further than that because he was able to create these relationships with these high-risk youth at these shelters. In January, 4 of them ran away from one of these shelters. Well, Deputy Burns took it upon himself to see if he could step in and intervene on behalf of these 4 runaways. He spent the next few days looking for them, actively looking for them, to the point where he spent his off time, his day off, at the mall, showing pictures of the runaways to people to see if he could get any leads on them or find out where they were or where they had been. He went to several truck stops in the area and just went, far and above what was required of him to try to locate and investigate the whereabouts of these youth. He was able to find the missing youth at a gas station. They had not eaten for quite some time, so Deputy Burns reached in his own pocket and paid for a meal of them and then got them back to the shelter. He went, again, further than that. He contacted some resources. Part of the reason why they had run away is because they wanted to go see some family or friends in Roswell, New Mexico. And so he was able to orchestrate that. They were allowed to go to Roswell, and he just did an outstanding job. Deputy Burns, your dedication and persistence are without question. Your willingness to serve is evidence. Thank you and congratulations for your award. All right. The next award that we're going to give out is the Life Saving Award. We have numerous recipients who earned Life Saving Award during the first quarter. The first group was comprised of Deputy Philip Levison, Deputy Isaac Marquez, and Josh Walker, Deputy Josh Walker. In March of this year, these deputies responded to a down and out. When they arrived on scene, they found a male subject who was unconscious and not breathing. The deputies administered Narcan and performed CPR. The man regained consciousness and was ultimately transported to the hospital for further treatment. Their sergeant said it well. He said this. He said, "I think we tend to forget the heroism and the situations our deputies face on a daily basis. We expect them to go back to their next call and act like nothing happened. The fact of the matter is these deputies positively impact the lives of others on a day-to-day basis. This is simply a snapshot, one small portion in time where they positively impacted a life and saved a life in this circumstance. Gentlemen, we appreciate your quick response, we appreciate your care, and congratulations on receiving the Life-Saving Award."
Lots of hardware.
You guys move this way so that you got a background there. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right. The second group for the Life-Saving Award for the first quarter is comprised of Deputy Tara Willis Gregory, Raymond Meyer, and Deputy Esteban Jojola. If you guys would come up. In January of 2020, these three deputies were on patrol when they spotted a suspicious vehicle parked in a parking lot with its engine running and lights on. When they attempted to make contact with the occupant, who was a female driver, she appeared unconscious and non-responsive. The deputies, fearing for her well-being, forced entry into the vehicle and began providing aid to the unresponsive female. It was discovered that the lady's blood sugar was extremely low. Rescue personnel responded and ultimately transported the individual to the hospital. Later, rescue informed Sergeant Marujo, their supervisor, that had the deputies not responded and acted quickly, likely the lady would have died. I want to pause and make a couple of points here. First of all, this wasn't a dispatch call. These deputies were out looking to proactively serve the community. They weren't sent to this call. They simply were checking on the welfare of somebody in the area. Second, they made a decision to force entry into a vehicle. This was done without a search warrant, without a sergeant telling them, hey, force entry. They made this decision on their own. We make decisions all the time with minimal information, with limited ability to step back and analyze and think about potential lawsuits or what might occur if we force entry into a vehicle. These deputies made a good decision, a solid decision, a decision based on their training, based on what was reasonable at the time, and ultimately they were willing to put aside any potential scrutiny or possible litigation that might come, and they put themselves into a situation where they could save somebody's life. Deputies, well done, and congratulations on your life-saving award.
You guys don't mind.
Slide this way, guys. There you go.
You can take them off. Thank you. I appreciate you.
The third group of deputies receiving the life-saving award for the first quarter is comprised of Deputy Robert Eichers, Deputy Cutter Pride, and Deputy Christopher Toole. These deputies were dispatched to a shots fired call. Upon arrival into the area, they made contact with 3 men. All 3 of these men were uncooperative and indicated they hadn't heard or seen anything. The deputies continued with their investigation, speaking with neighbors and other people in the area. The investigation ultimately led them back to the original 3 men. Upon making contact with the men, they noticed that one of the men was leaning over a vehicle and appeared to be kind of coming in and out of consciousness. The other 2 men said, "Oh, he's just intoxicated." They continued with their investigation and had found that the man that was leaning over the vehicle indeed had a gunshot wound under his clothing through his chest and out his back. They administered life-saving first aid, including applying a chest seal to the man's upper torso, and called for rescue. The man was transported to the hospital for further medical attention. Their application of first aid and the chest seal ultimately saved the man's life. The deputies continued with the investigation, which resulted in the seizure of over 1 kilo of cocaine, 2 pounds of heroin, and numerous firearms. The response was quick, appropriate, and they did an outstanding job saving a life and conducting a substantial investigation. Gentlemen, good job and congratulations. You guys slide this way, let the sheriff jump in there with you.
I don't want to stand too close to Cutter. I'll keep you short.
It's very tall.
Here, I take a chance.
Sorry.
You Crawford?
Yes, sir. Didn't take the hint there.
All right, that concludes the first quarter awards. I appreciate the service and commitment of the deputies and our support staff. Let's give them one more round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming down. And I'm sorry that you couldn't have your family and your friends here with you, but we'll put this on social media, and that way you guys can get some recognition, okay? So tell your family and friends to watch it there, all right? Thank you all very much.